So you know how sometimes it seems like certain people have this special secret that allows them to learn languages easily? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like those people that haven't even been learning a language for that long, but regardless, they progress so quickly. Vocabulary extensive, pronunciation smooth, understanding of all the grammar checked. And so the question is, like, does such a secret actually exist? Like, is there actually something that important that you're missing out on that could literally multiply your language learning results? Well, the answer is yes. I'm not talking about comprehensible input, I'm not talking about AI, even though they're both important and useful. I'm talking about a secret that's so unspoken in language learning that even the majority of people that use it do so without realizing. And it's precisely the third language learning secret that I used to learn Spanish in 8 months y llegar a este nivel que escuchas ahora mismo dentro de 2 años y medio. Y de hecho, tengo un canal secundario completamente en español si quieres echar un vistazo. Interesting thing is, I actually came across this secret by chatting to Latinas on Tandem. Yes. Just about 2 summers ago, I was on that app literally every day, practicing my Spanish with literally everyone. And one day I come across this one girl from Argentina who'd been learning English for about a year at the time. We're gonna call her Maria. Now, Maria's English was absolutely fantastical. I'm talking, she could understand everything I said. I didn't even have to speak slower. I think the best thing was just her ability to flow in the language. You know what I'm saying? She just sounded like a native from California. Okay, so me being the curious guy that I am, I wanted to know if there was anything that she actually struggled with. And so I asked her what was the most difficult thing about learning English, in her opinion. She thought about it for a second, and you know what she replied? Nada. She said there wasn't anything particularly difficult. It was just a case whereby there were things she needed to improve and still learn, but she just viewed it as a matter of time. And she was sure that eventually she'd achieve her language learning goals. Now, in the moment, her response actually shocked me a little bit because I'd spoken to a lot of people that told me the complete opposite. I'll give you an example. Not long before, I'd met another guy on the same app, a Spanish guy. At the time, he spent about 2 years learning English. We're gonna call him Carlos. Now, Carlos, or should I say his English, wasn't as good as Maria's, which is okay, look, we all learn at our own pace. The point is though, when I asked Carlos the same question, do you know what he said? He said, you know what? Unlike learning Spanish, learning English is actually really difficult. I mean, you've got the grammar, the pronunciation, the phrasal verbs, prepositions, the fact that we speak English so quickly, especially us Brits. Apparently, the English teachers in Spain are really bad. And on top of that, he didn't actually have money to travel to England or America. So long story short, he didn't really see himself as capable of reaching a high level. Now, what happened? A few months later, I come back to the app to speak to these guys again. Maria's English had improved, pero el inglés de nuestro amigo Carlitos había empeorado. The guy told me that, you know what, he'd actually stopped learning English for a little bit. And even though he started again, he already knew that he was gonna struggle a lot. By the way, have you caught the secret yet? Like, have you realized the difference between Carlos and Maria? Like, do you know what Maria has in common with the people that learn languages successfully? Well, the successful ones are the ones that are sure that they're capable of succeeding regardless of external factors. Now, of course, there can be things that you find a bit more difficult, things that you find less difficult, depending on your native language and the language you're learning. That's fine. The point is, these people are 100% convinced that eventually they will reach their language learning goals. It's just a matter of time. But on top of that, even before they reach their goals, they already see themselves as part of the community of people that speak the language that they're learning. It's just a case whereby they need to improve a few things and still learn a few more things on the side. Now, it's an idea so simple, yet so profound. In fact, it's something that Stephen Krashen talks about in his book, Explorations in Language Acquisition and Use. He talks about the idea that there are certain blockers that can limit your ability to acquire a language subconsciously. For example, stress or anxiety. But other examples also include a lack of self-confidence, or number 2, not actually feeling part of the community that speaks the language that you're learning. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're learning Spanish. If you don't actually believe that you're capable of doing so, or if you don't already see yourself as part of the Spanish-speaking community, regardless of the level that you have at the moment, you're limiting your progress. Because unintentionally, what you're doing is you're putting a blocker on the part of your brain that acquires the language subconsciously. And this is one of the main reasons why certain people progress so quickly and other people don't, even though they do the same activities. Like, the methods you use and the time you spend doing them are really important to improve your language learning results, but your mindset towards language learning is fundamental to multiply your results. And so how can you implement the secret? Number 1, increase your self-confidence. Look, the number 1 way you're going to do that is by setting yourself a goal and then doing it, because that way you have proof, right? You have evidence to say that you are the type of person that achieves what they set out to do. Now, you can do this with anything. One thing I would say is that the more difficult the thing is, the better. 2, convince yourself that you already belong to the group of people that speak the language that you're trying to learn. The trick here is to make sure that every day you are doing the things that the people that already speak the language do. Listen to music, podcasts, speaking to friends, watching series, watching movies, reading books, and you're making sure that you're doing everything in the language that you're learning. Nothing in your native language, unless it's absolutely unavoidable, until you get to the point where you too are 100% convinced that you belong to that group.